Welcome to my kitchen, everyone. Today we're going to be making oven fries with coriander seed and wonderful fresh basil aioli. And fresh from KC Farm School Gardens, we're going to be having green basil, purple basil, some potatoes, mayo, olive oil, of course the coriander seed, and fresh garlic also from Kansas City Farm School. So let's get started. Right. So let's make our oven fries. So we have russet potatoes, and we have about 2 pounds here. And you're going to, I always, on these vegetables that are so rounded, I always like to cut them and get a surface that is stable on your cutting board. So I usually cut them in half, and then I cut them in half again, into quarters like you see. And then we're going to make these into 1/2 inch sticks, basically. And you can use other types of potatoes if you like, and you can keep them with the skin on, as this is, or you could peel them if you choose. But I like the skin because it gives a little crispiness when we get ready to basically fry these in the oven. And let's just prepare all the rest of our potatoes in the same way and put them into a favorite shape for you for oven fries. And we will coat them with our olive oil, coriander seed, and black pepper and salt. So let's get started on that part. So to prepare the oven fries, we have some olive oil, salt and pepper, and coriander seed that needs to go on top to flavor them. But we have to crush the coriander seed because they're quite hard. So we're going to crush them in my household with the mortar and pestle. You might have a coffee grinder. You might have a blender. Somehow you need to crack the outside shell of that coriander seed. And here we go. Okay, let's crush the coriander. Oh, very good. Just round and around, go round and around. Excellent. And see how that crushes the outside hole of the coriander seed? Yeah. Keep going. Round and around. Oh, do you smell it? Even with your mask on, you can smell that coriander.
It's so strong.
It is.
Should I stop that?
I think so. I think you've got...
What else do we have?
So we're always getting exercise somehow in the kitchen, aren't we? So we've crushed the outside shells of that coriander seed, and that beautiful essence from inside the seed will combine with the olive oil, salt and pepper, and those potatoes and taste delicious. So let's do that. Coat these with some olive oil and save some of that olive oil in reserve so you can spread that olive oil over your pan and keep those oven fries from sticking to your pan. Then we're going to use some of that great fresh crushed coriander seed that we have, and a nice generous serving of cracked pepper, black pepper. You could use cayenne. Really, this recipe, you can use any kind of herb, any kind of spice that, you know, are your favorites to use. This one is going to be, then I'm going to use some coarse salt over the top of that. We're going to mix these slightly with very clean hands, remember. All right. Mix the olive oil, coriander, salt, and pepper all together with the beautiful potatoes, fresh potatoes. We're going to spread this olive oil on the sheet pan evenly all over the bottom of the pan. And we're going to bake these potatoes at 450 for 30 to 40 minutes. Now you want, depending on the heat in your oven, you're going to need to check these potatoes, and you may want to stir them occasionally And we put the potatoes all down on to the sheet pan. Now, I personally like to lay them out where the flesh side touches, some part of the flesh touches the sheet pan. And they're easier to see how they're cooking this way. This flesh side will get extra crispy, and we don't need a deep fryer for these fries because they will get very crispy in the 450 oven. So now we're going to prepare this beautiful aioli, and for this dish you're going to use it as a dip for these oven fries. So we are going to use aioli is traditionally any kind of sauce made with garlic and mayo, and then you can season it again any way that you choose. So we're going to smash this garlic just like we did last week, using some coarse salt to break up the cellulose in the garlic, and then we're going to smash the garlic against the cutting board, back and forth until we make a paste. In case you don't want to use this chef knife method for making a garlic paste, of course you could use a food processor. You could use there's a little tool that is called a garlic press, and you put the clove of garlic right into this little slot and squeeze, and that would also make a great paste. So you could do that. I've also seen where you can grind this between 2 spoons. So give that a try, you know, if you don't have a big chef knife like this. So here's our garlic paste. We're just going to put it in and get ready to make our aioli. I've rough chopped the green basil for the one I'm using, and I'm going to put our garlic paste into that. And I'm going to be using what's called an immersion blender for my aioli. It looks like this. This one's made by Braun, but there's many of them out there on the market. If you don't have one of these immersion blenders, handheld immersion blenders, you can scrape the basil with salt against your cutting board, just like I showed you for making a garlic paste. You could also use the piece of equipment called a magic bullet that makes smoothies and juices for you in the kitchen. You could use any of those things that you might have. So we're going to add our mayonnaise, and we have our garlic in there at this point, and we're going to add a little bit of again, salt. As usual, you use a small amount in the beginning because you can always add more later. Check your seasoning, you know, after you're completed with whatever you're making. And a little bit of black pepper. You could add lemon rind, you could add lemon juice to this, lime. You could add Cajun seasoning and Mexican seasoning. It can be seasoned in a variety of ways, as I mentioned before. So let's get this into its aioli. It's beautiful. You'll see. And we'll put this in a serving bowl to get ready for dipping our oven fries into. Let me detach this from the motor, and we'll get all that wonderful sauce into the bowl. Scrape it out from the inside on every luscious bit. So let's get this aioli into a beautiful serving dish. And of course, if you made extra, if you made a really large batch, you know, you could make this in a quart jar and a whole lot for, this would keep in your fridge like any other mayo dressing would keep, you know, really for up to a week, and right in the jar that you made it in. So, but for today, I think we're just going to put it in a serving bowl, and we're going to use this to dip our luscious oven fries into. So we have about 15 minutes more to cook on these, but I'm going to go ahead and turn these a little bit so we get another crispy side to these oven fries. Okay, so the oven fries are ready. They look crispy and delicious. Let's see how we did. Let's just drain some of the extra grease, you know, the oil, the olive oil, onto this paper towel. So our oven fries are out of the oven. We set them on paper towel to absorb any of the excess oils from the baking process. And now all that's left to do is get busy eating this great summer delight. So have fun this week. I hope you have fun with your recipe, and we'll see you next week. Take care.